Today we'll be taking a look at some more of these liminal spaces, and rating them based on how eerie they are, how they present, and how familiar they may feel. Let's begin.
Stay a while and listen.
Upstairs at work. Okay, this is really creepy. I like how desaturated this one is, and it's mostly just the red exit light that is like the real emphasis here. I think that really does this quite a bit of justice. Just this creepy long shot of the hallway is actually super good. Why is it so dark in this place? Actually, like, you've got nothing going on like except for this exit light. If it weren't broad daylight outside, I would be like horrified standing in this hallway. You've got no lights on at all except for this exit sign, and it's glowing really bright red. I like the eeriness of this one. This looks like one of those like office buildings that like your parents would like walk you through when you were a child and you had no real idea what was going on, but you were just following them, like one of their workplaces or something like that. And this is a hallway that you'd find and like stare down. You'd give like a 1,000-yard stare or whatever. This one gets an 8 out of 10 for the eeriness. As far as the nostalgia familiarity, this one gets a 6. If the lighting were a bit more dynamic in this, and like the flooring pattern and stuff like that were a little bit more like colorful, like the walls are very white here, so I get the vibe that this is like a fairly new place compared to like something that's old. So that one gets a 6 as far as the nostalgia familiarity for me. The presentation though is honestly like a 9 out of 10. I just love how this is like a super dark hallway with this really bright exit sign and this single door at the end. I think overall this one gets a 7 out of 10 for me. I really like the way that this is presented. I've seen more eerie posts than this and more eerie liminal spaces, but I just like how this one is like super dark and the exit sign is like super bright and glowing red and all that. I think it works really well. Liminal Toys R Us. I increased contrast slightly to brighten it up as it was quite dull in the photo. It looks straight out of the back rooms now. What is this, dude? This is actually really creepy. I don't know. I think it's the way that these photos were taken. Like, we've got a bit of a wider lens here, and then it's obviously like taken like slanted to the side a little bit. The increased contrast definitely helps this because this looks like straight out of a childhood memory. If you had a flashback to your childhood in Toys R Us, this is probably what you'd imagine or what it would look like, except the one thing that's really carrying the eeriness for me in this one is like the lack of people. Obviously that is one thing of liminal spaces, is that there is a distinct lack of people. There's just a few toys like on the ground, like along with no people around. While this place is relatively clean, like on the floor there are a couple toys on the ground and stuff like that. It just kind of gives the vibe that like there were a few kids here, or like people were here before just having to drop everything and abandon the place. The chairs being pulled out here. Aren't all the Toys R Us stores closed? This must be like an older image or something like that. Or maybe this is big tech sale. This might just be like a Toys R Us unit in like a different store or something like that. Either way, these are pretty well done. As far as the eeriness goes, I'd give this a 5. It's not crazy eerie, like all the lights and stuff are still on, and you know, there's no people inside, but this is a Toys R Us. I still feel relatively safe. If I were to walk through this place, I wouldn't feel like too unsettled or anything. As far as the nostalgia factor goes, even though I have never personally been to a Toys R Us, I know, crazy, like Gen Z kid has never been to the Toys R Us in his life. I've been to toy stores and stuff like that before. This is doing it for me on the nostalgia factor. Like, this gets a 9 straight up. The way that this is presented with the increased contrast, the pictures being just taken at like angles, I think this is honestly a 7. I think it does these a bit of justice as far as being considered liminal spaces and everything. I guarantee if these were just taken with the just dull lighting and everything, I don't think it would have had that much of the nostalgia factor. I feel like nostalgia and nostalgic memories and stuff like that are far more colorful and saturated. That really helps in that department. I think this gets a 6 out of 10. I've seen some more unsettling liminal space images, but I do like how this one is presented. I think it's done really well. Eerie stairwell I found. This seems like a stairwell leading to the basement of like a church or something like that. That's what I get the vibe of, at least, because I like, me personally, I went to church a lot in my childhood. There was this one church that my dad and I used to go to, and its churches are mostly very old churches. There's not really a whole lot of new built churches, like at least in my area. So they were all like at least 100 years old. I'm seeing like this on the stairs here, and I'm thinking, okay, this has been here for like at least like 70 years. The carpet actually does help that point. Like, it's just been here for a while. It's very unmaintained. This tile flooring and this just like this cut little slit here in the floor. Like, it just looks like it's been here for a while. And this one light strip, it's giving off an eerie feeling because this is like the only light that's lighting up this room. It looks like it's just really dark coming down the stairs. The walls don't look too great either. The specific spot right here, 8 out of 10 on the eerie scale. As far as nostalgia familiarity for me, I have to give this a 7. This feels like a place that I was not supposed to be in. As a child, I would roam around the church and everything, and I'd find a staircase. I would be scared to go down it in a way, but like once you do, you kind of see something that looks like this. That's something that's fairly unmaintained or like unmaintenanced, you know? The way that this picture is shot, like I think it's shot in like the perfect spot, you know what I mean? Because you get everything from this image. You get like the dirty carpet, you get the stairwell and the darkness that goes up the stairwell, you get the light in the picture, and just you get everything in here. I think this gets a 9 out of 10 on the presentation for me. Overall, I think this is gonna be an 8 out of 10. I feel some kind of way looking at this image. This was just definitely something that was abandoned, or people just don't really go down here that often, and if they do, it's only just to get through the place and nothing else. Like nothing really happened here a lot. I can definitely imagine it looking better like 100 years ago or something like that.
Hey guys, it's Spacey here, and I just want to let you know that if you're enjoying this video, then it would help a ton if you were to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel with post notifications on. It's the most direct way to let YouTube know that we're doing great work over here on the CodeNameSpacey channel. And I've noticed that a lot of the people who watch this channel are returning viewers but haven't subscribed yet, so why not join the kingdom and spread the word? I'm not going to take up too much more of your time though, so thank you for listening, and let's get back to the video.
My school hallways. Okay, this is very interesting. You've got something that's very lit up here, but of course no one else is here. Something about liminal spaces and liminal space photos being taken in schools always was like really unsettling to me. If you ever had the chance in between classes, like after school, to like look down each of the hallways and everything, just to see nobody walking, you don't hear any talking or anything like that, because it's just after hours. Like it feels like you're not supposed to be here. Having all of these windows be open too is like another like slightly unsettling factor. I can't really say why. I guess it just gives off like a sign of life. Like there was life here, there was activity here, and then it's no longer here. Like somebody forgot to close the windows. Seeing a school like this, you know, in broad daylight, seeming like it's in like the middle of the day or something like that, and not seeing anybody in the halls. You're at school on like a Saturday. It's fairly eerie, but you know, not eerie enough to where it's like, oh, like it doesn't really make me that uncomfortable, to be honest. It's just kind of weird. On the eeriness scale, this one gets like a 4. Nostalgia familiarity though, like I'm quite removed from high school at this point, so like seeing this kind of environment, like I have had to see my school in an environment where there's not really a whole lot of people during the day. It was just completely empty, and me and like only 1 or 2 other people in the building at the time. So this is quite nostalgic for me. It was quite a good time in my life where I was you know, doing stuff for that school. It gets a 7 on the nostalgia factor for me. As far as the way these pictures were taken, the way they were shot and everything like that, you've got some good angles here to where it doesn't really show anything too out of the ordinary. Like these shots are fairly straightforward and everything. So the presentation is like a 5 or a 6, you know, on my scale. Nothing too crazy here. It is just very empty, and it's very lit up too. I know a lot of like nostalgic high school images or whatever, like the best day of school or like the last day of school, kind of had like these golden hour kind of photos. Like the lighting was very like yellowish, like sunset kind of vibe. If these photos were taken at like a golden hour or something like that, it would help the presentation a lot. It would absolutely up the nostalgia factor on these photos. Overall, I think these are a 5 out of 10. These aren't too bad, but I do absolutely love how empty it is. And like I said, seeing a school so empty like this is just like one of those things that you're like, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be seeing this? Is it Saturday and I got tricked by everyone or something? Backrooms on the job. This is weird. This is really weird looking. From the small preview that you get, it looks like this would be carpet and not tile. I've seen building in between sections like where they have these little transitional rooms that don't really stand for anything or aren't really for any purpose other than to just get to another room, and like this would be carpet and it would be carpet floors and everything, but this seems like it's probably in like a basement area of some kind. We got this light working over here, but this one's not working. You got like a different shaped light, and this exit sign has such weird placement. What is going on with this? It's just a really awkward looking room. Like the architecture of this is very interesting. Just having tile all over the places is just a very interesting choice. You've got this like tile brick going along the bottom, and it's like a thicker pattern, and then you've got this like kind of thin tile along this pillar here. Very strange. This is quite an eerie photo, I won't lie. I don't know if it's really evoking a lot in me other than just me questioning the architect here, like who made these design choices. This is probably like a 3 on the eeriness scale in my opinion. It's a little strange, I'll give it that, but I'm not really too sure about like straight up eerie. I imagine you just walk in one of these areas and in a building and you're just like, oh, okay. As far as nostalgia familiarity, this probably gets like a 5. The centerpiece of this is always like these pillars that are right here in rooms like this. You just reached a weird structural like foundational point. I feel like I've seen this kind of structure before. Not this weird though. This is definitely the weirdest one of the bunch that I've seen so far. As far as the presentation goes, the way that this is shot and the way that this is composed, it's definitely there for like a liminal space-esque photo. It's getting an 8 for me. Like just having this angle where it's like obstructing this light that's gone out, and then just having this exit sign placed in such a strange place. I don't really know. It's just kind of, it seems just odd in general. It kind of tells a story of nothing. It's kind of in character for rooms like these. It's just such a nothing room that like it's been so overlooked, and I feel like this picture kind of tells that in a good way. These walls have clearly been painted over and everything. I don't know what this weird strip of paint is. Nothing too important has ever happened in this room. I think this gets a 6 out of 10 for me overall, but it's not evoking a whole lot from me, but I do get like a sense of familiarity from these rooms though. Empty cruise ship. Oh my God, there's a lot of them for this. Hold up. Whoa. I really like this. I really like this a lot. Just from this first image, this is one of the things that grabs my attention the quickest in these liminal space photos is these colored lights. Just having a fairly like colorful background environment or ambience to it. It just kind of ups the nostalgia factor for me. It kind of reminds me of like one of those photos where it's of like a house, just like surrounded by darkness. It's like pitch black night outside and it's like strung up with Christmas lights. It kind of reminds me of that for some reason. The nostalgia familiarity for that comes from like driving by in like the back of your parents' car and you're seeing one of these houses on the street and just being like, wonder who lives there, like I wonder what's going on, and you think of that when you're young. That's what it reminds me of, at least, seeing these kinds of lights. It may seem like a stretch, but that's just what I think when I see liminal space photos like this. Oh my gosh, just kind of seems like after hours, no one's here, no one's active when it should be active. I think that's really upping the eerie factor here, especially this photo. Oh my gosh. There's no one behind the bars over here. There's no one sitting at the tables. Every chair is pushed in. The lighting in this photo is crazy. It's actually going crazy. I love the blue in this. Yep, once again, no one's being served and no one's serving at all. Just completely empty. Oh my gosh, man. Overhead shot. For some reason, I see this and it kind of reminds me of like that backrooms like horror game that people were playing a lot. I know it's not really like too connected to just straight up being liminal spaces or whatever, but it just kind of like this vibe, and I think this grid pattern over the pool from the net here just kind of reminds me of that quite a bit. It is strange. Yeah, just no one's here, no one's active. I think these first few really do it for me though, as far as the eeriness and everything, because like once again, it's an area that like seems like it's supposed to be really active but no one's here. I think this gets a 10 on the eeriness factor for me. This first photo really sent it for me. Like, whoa. When I rank things on the eeriness factor, I just kind of have to imagine how I would feel walking through this with all of these lights and no one else around, and I would feel a little strange. I would feel quite strange. You can assume that there's a lot of people on this cruise ship and not a single other soul is walking around at all during these hours. The nostalgia slash familiarity definitely gets like a 5 from me. I haven't personally been on a cruise myself. Seeing this lighting and everything, all the chairs pushed in, it's like being in a restaurant or something, like after hours when everyone else is gone, the dining room is closed or whatever. As far as the presentation goes, I think this is definitely a 9. The way that these photos are shot, the angles and everything, using these pillars as like the framing in the shot is really good. And of course, I think all of these liminal space photos, they're never taken with a straight on angle, and that's another thing too. I feel like when they're taken with like a slightly slanted angle, it's supposed to simulate like a more realistic human POV, you know what I mean? So it's like you're never always going to be looking at things straight on. In terms of a memory, he managed to find areas that were just completely empty and looked like they haven't been touched in a while. This is definitely an 8 out of 10 overall. I love this. Despite this coming off as quite eerie in the photos, this has to be like the most peaceful thing of all time. Being able to sit in one of these dining rooms, or just being able to like sit outside by the pool, or and you know, just like in this area with this lighting, just the ocean, like I think it would just be really nice and peaceful, you know, while there's really no one else around you. You get time to yourself to just enjoy the scene, just enjoy the area around you. I think this is good. This is really good. Got lost drunk in a hotel backroom looking lobby. All right, I think this one might be like one of the first like straight 10 out of 10s. There's multiple things that are doing it for me in this photo, okay? This carpet pattern is like very nostalgic to me. I just remember running around in a huge hotel like as a kid because my mom worked at a hotel, and I just got to go to work with her quite a few times, and I remember seeing carpeting like this quite a lot. This lighting, is it really supposed to be this green, or is this image edited? Like, I can't even tell, but like the way that this photo is framed is like, you know, it's just a long winding hallway. Like, it just goes down for a while, and then you can even see like the reflection in the wall here, which just kind of gives the illusion that it keeps going. We got this exit sign over here that's like glowing green. The lighting in this photo, I think, and obviously I think this is edited actually. I guess if you were walking down this hallway like drunk, it would kind of look something like this. I guess this photo isn't extremely eerie in any way, really, because like, I don't know, like when you're walking through hotel hallways, they're not usually too crowded or anything. There's never usually a whole lot going on. You usually see like maybe 1 or 2 people or something like that. So it may not be like the most eerie photo, but as far as nostalgia and familiarity for me, this gets a 10. This was something from my childhood that immediately just resonated with me, and I was like, whoa. And the way that this is presented, definitely a 9. I think the green lighting, the greenish lighting in this photo, it might be a tad bit overdone to sell the point, but it still looks very nice overall. Of course, we've got like the same slanted view, and he's standing in like the perfect spot for this to be able to get this super long shot. This might be a 9 out of 10. This is really interesting. Hospital on a weekend. Okay, man. This one is really good because hospitals are known for being very populated places. There's always a lot going on in hospitals. There's always people walking around at like all hours of the day. So to see photos like this where you actually find nobody at all, it's just very strange. Oh, this photo is good. This ceiling kind of like this tiny leak in it, and it's kind of had like this bent bow a little bit. It gives off the feeling that this could be like partially abandoned or whatever, but like even though it might not be, it's just after hours. This shot, how did you even get here? How did you even get here to get a shot like this? Seeing like these pipes in here, and like they just continue to go all the way down. This is just a very eerie location to be in a hospital, bro, and it just keeps going forever. But you know, people operate here. People have to like actually walk and commute through this area to, you know, do their daily jobs and whatever. But this is insane. This might get a 10 out of 10 on the eerie factor for me because hospitals are just naturally very populated, but nothing's going on over here. Like, nothing's going on in these halls, not a single person. The nostalgia familiarity for me is most likely at a 4 though, because, you know, I don't really get a sense of nostalgia from these images. I haven't really been in a whole lot of hospitals, thank God, but this is something that can easily be like super like nostalgic or familiar to someone else who has been here a lot. And the presentation for these is honestly like an 8 out of 10. Like, I love the way that these are shot. Like, again, where these people are standing for these photos, getting this angle and everything, seeing like this super long shot all the way down the hallways, having this one up here be kind of slanted, so you're kind of like, it kind of makes it seem like someone's turning their head to look down this way instead of just getting like a straight on shot. You get views of like both different ways here, like a different room over here, and then all the way down to where the cafeteria might be. Presentation is definitely a 7 out of 10. This one picture is actually really doing it for me though, I can't lie. Seeing all of this exposed and whatever, it just feels like you're not supposed to be down here. I think overall this gets a 7 out of 10 for me. These do feel very eerie though, I will not lie. That's gonna be all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking through some liminal spaces with me. We found some eerie ones, we found some really creepy ones. I really miss when liminal spaces were an internet trend and was really something that people were talking about and sharing a lot online. But looking through this in general was just kind of nostalgic for me. I've seen a lot of different videos about liminal spaces and just that sense of nostalgia. Really good to see that people are still submitting liminal space images. If you're interested in seeing more liminal spaces, let me know down in the comment section below and by leaving a like on this video. And be sure to subscribe to the channel with post notifications on so you don't miss another Reddit video from me. That's all from me. Later.